Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with golf coach Pete Gyscek, football captain Connor Hollenbeck, and field hockey captain Victoria Van Natten. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington in the athletics. Sonia Meehan placed second at the ITA Small College Women's Tennis Championships in Fort Myers, Florida, falling to Emory's Michelle Satterfield in a three-set final. Meehan and fellow junior Patricia Kirkland also claimed second place in the doubles competition. Men's and women's swimming opened up their seasons with dual meet wins at home over center. Field hockey lost a 3-2 decision to Rhodes, and women's soccer battled Salisbury to a 0-0 draw at Watt Field. Men's soccer fell 1-0 at Virginia Wesleyan, while volleyball went 1-2 on its Kentucky trip, dropping 4-set matches to Center and Defiance before rebounding to defeat Transylvania. Men's golf tied for second place at the Virginia State Intercollegiate in Winchester, while the women came in third at Bridgewater. And football evened up its ODAC record with a 21-17 road win over Emory and Henry. I'm joined now by Connor Hollenbeck, senior football captain from Alpharetta, Georgia. Connor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How important was it for the Generals to bounce back against Emory and Henry after the tough loss against Guilford?
Going down to Emory and Henry, they got a hostile crowd down there. They always have a solid team. And to pull out a win, close win against them is huge. I feel like we had a team effort. Defense played really well. They had to play well until the offense got rolling. And, it's huge to get the train back on the tracks and get us back in that W column.
Washington Lee continues to put up some amazing numbers on the ground. You're now leading Division III in rushing yardage per game. How do you and your fellow offensive linemen view all these statistics and records?
Well, any offensive lineman, we don't have any statistics. So we really play for the team, and when the team, especially the offense, when we have rushing yards like that and we run the ball all the time, it's huge for us to get the records like that. And when you rush for 400 yards a game, you're almost always going to pull out a W. So it's big for us to really block as hard as we can and get those holes open for the running backs like Marshall and Turner and Eisenhofer. And if we can do that, I feel like we can come out with a W.
All of the success that WNL has had during your time here means that you're playing every week with the target on your backs. How do you prepare for ODAC games when you know you're going to get the best shot from the opposition?
Well, the preparation really starts with Coach Abel, Coach Colleton, and really all the coaches. They scout the other teams, and they're going to show us in practice. The scout team's going to give us all the looks that we feel like the defense is going to run. But in the end, you never really know what the defense is going to give you when you have an offense that we have. So it's important to rep as many defenses as we can and then go out there and be comfortable playing against anything they can show us.
I know one of the big team goals this year continues to be to win another ODAC title. You've got a chance to shake the conference race back up against Randolph-Macon this weekend. What are the keys for WNL as you take on the 4-1 Yellow Jackets?
I feel like the main key against Randolph-Macon has got to be play as a team, just like we did against Emory and Henry. Randolph-Macon has a solid running game, run the power I, and they're really going to try to shove it down our throats. And the defensive line, the linebackers, they really need to play well. Mike Unholtz, Mark Burley, Moody Hurd, Patrick Wright. These guys, I think they're one of the most solid front seven we have in the conference. And those guys are going to need to play really well. And then on offense, we just need to get it rolling, especially early. We need to put some points on the board, kind of like we did last year, went up 14-0. If we can really do that on the road, it's their homecoming game, we can really kind of suck the life out of their crowd. That would be huge for us.
Connor, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the year.
All right, thanks so much.
I'm joined now by golf coach Pete Gyscek. Pete, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
The Virginia State Intercollegiate became a one-day event due to the weather, but the WNL men finished second, and Teddy Corcoran was the runner-up. How did the Generals compete on Monday?
Well, as you know, Jeremy, when the weather is that bad, it's very hard to judge competition. They had 6 inches of rain. Even on Monday, the course was barely playable. So we went in with 4 first years in this lineup and 1 sophomore. And one of the first years was making his first start of his college career, and Teddy Corcoran, our sophomore, was making his first start of the season. So I think we played pretty well up there. You never really know where you can go with that. So I think they did a great job. Teddy's runner-up finish was a good start for him. We're glad to have him back in the lineup.
The WNL women just wrapped up their fall season at Bridgewater. What kind of progress, what kind of growth have you seen from that team so far this year?
Jeremy, I'm really proud of that group of young women. They go into every event kind of under the 8 ball in the fact that there's only 4 of them, so their score is going to count no matter what. So, so we kind of approach it with kind of an individual basis. Their progression has been good so far this fall. If you remember last fall, they progressed pretty well in the same conditions. But going into spring, we lost half of our spring season because of the illnesses on the team. So it's be interesting to see if they can carry that progression through this year.
The college golf season is broken up into 2 parts. You've got the shorter fall season and the longer traditional spring season. How do you approach that from a training and practice standpoint when you have such a long gap during the fall and winter?
Yeah, it's interesting. College golf is a little bit different than any other intercollegiate sport in the fact that we have that big gap between seasons. Each season counts just the same as the other. So you kind of have to look at it backwards to get the full picture from the player's point of view. Basically, their season will start in February for the year, the calendar year. They play through the end of the school season. They usually compete and practice through the summer. So when they come in the fall, they've had a lot of golf behind them and they're ready to go. If you're playing well, then come November, December, you kind of have some downtime and good to recharge the batteries. If you're not playing up to where you want to be, probably November is the time to get out there and get yourself set and hopefully get a little break. It's very important for them. And there's some weight training that goes on during the off season also.
What are your expectations for the 2 teams this spring?
Well, on the women's side, I think I mentioned earlier, we've really approached it through an individual point of view. I think this spring it's time for them to move to the next level and really have the team competition become the major factor in what they do. On the men's side, after the first week of practice this year, assistant coach Warner and myself really got the team together and we set the bar pretty high for them. It's a solid team with a lot of depth, and throughout the rest of the schedule from here forward, we play our biggest non-conference schedule coming up. It's a pretty solid type of events, and really I think the key is that we don't treat every event just as a tournament, but as a championship going forward.
Pete, great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
With me now is Victoria Van Natten, senior field hockey captain from Towson, Maryland. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Washington and Lee knocked off Roanoke 5-0 at the turf field on Tuesday night. How does that win impact the Generals' pursuit of an ODAC tournament spot?
First off, it just really felt great to connect as a team. I think that we met a lot of goals that we've been trying to meet all year, and it just really felt like finally everything came together. And if we can get a win on Thursday, I really think it sets us up really well for the ODAC tournament. So I'm pretty excited.
You've got some young players making contributions all over the field. I know it was tough for them during the string of close losses. What did you and your co-captains do to keep their confidence level up?
We really just tried to emphasize that although we weren't getting the W's, we were meeting a lot of our goals, such as out-cornering and out-shooting the other teams. So it's just kind of at some point the ball has to lay for us. And hopefully last night started a string of wins. We just tried to emphasize to those girls that now that they're getting the experience as first years, that will really set them up well for the rest of their time here.
How has competing in a varsity sport contributed to your overall experience at WNL?
Obviously, being on the field hockey team has been a major part of my life here. It really has enabled me to meet a lot of new people that I might otherwise not have interacted with, and just kind of learn a lot about interacting with other people and being a leader. So I hope those are skills that I'll use well in my future.
What are the team's goals for the last 2 weeks of the regular season?
Our main goals, and these might seem really simple, but are to get more goals, get a lot of offensive pressure in the R50, and just make sure to win a few more games, because we really need that, especially going into the tournament. We want to get to the tournament and hopefully make it to the championship. So,
Victoria, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Men's soccer travels to Randolph-Macon for a Friday afternoon ODAC match. Volleyball visits Eastern Mennonite, and men's and women's swimming head to Mary Washington. Volleyball continues play at Bridgewater on Saturday, followed by a neutral court contest against Salem. Men's and women's cross country will compete in the Christopher Newport Invitational, and women's soccer takes on Sweetbriar on the road. Back in Lexington, women's swimming will host the ODAC relays, while field hockey meets Center, and the football team will travel to Randolph-Macon to battle the Yellow Jackets. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.